What's up, everybody? We're back. This is Rage in a Cage with BamBam and Schwaggs. I'm Frank BamBam Orak. With me, as always, my co-host Mikey Schwaggs.
And back producing is Sloth. How you doing over there, Tony?
Oh, come on, man. I'm a very beautiful man.
Oh, jeez.
Whoa.
You know it.
You
It's
took that a
okay.
little too far. You kind of
It's
look
okay.
like Raphael from the Ninja Turtles.
I like him.
All right, what do we got, Tough Tony?
All right, coming up, we're going to be talking about the last three fights of that card.
All right, give us that first
UFC
matchup.
144, we had Mark Hunt versus Chet Congo.
Ah, I really plasticated myself with this one, Frank.
Listen, big up. We got a couple upsets to talk about now with these last three fights, but yeah, we both had Congo winning this fight.
I originally had Hunt,
Well, you went with Congo.
but I went with Congo based off of facts.
Just
And,
well, listen, the fact that Hunt 7-7 going in, Congo with all the experience.
But you
the,
got to
the
remember,
biggest thing for
Hunt's
me, though,
got that K1
and then was
background.
talking about the size thing. Hunt was most likely going to be 265. Congo usually like in 240, 245. But for this fight, Congo weighed in at 229.
Yeah, I know. He was
which is,
really light for this fight.
Yeah, going against Hunt, who came in as expected, 265. So you got a 265 guy going against a 229 guy. I mean, Congo still had the height and reach advantage, but it didn't really matter. Hunt used his kickboxing skills. That's the one thing that he had the advantage on.
Yep.
And he used them perfectly and, got the knockout of Congo.
You know, the thing that I was afraid of going into this about Hunt was I was afraid that he would gas himself out going for that knockout in the first round. But as we see, he didn't gas himself out,
Didn't
and
gas
he
him
got
out.
the knockout.
Got him.
You know, some
I think
would
it's
argue that it
considered
was
a
an early
TKO.
stoppage.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think
I
he
rewatched
wasn't-
it. Congo was out of it.
Yeah, no,
There's
he
no
was-
way that was an
He was
early
not
stoppage.
defending himself. I mean, you can obviously point to the Pat Berry fight that he's out of it there, and the ref let it go, and Congo came back and won. But
He was trying to wrestle Herb Dean.
Yeah, I don't think it was definitely a good stoppage. Hunt won, Congo lost, no question about it.
Yeah, and
I mean,
Hunt's been on a tear now since he came into the UFC,
He's
3-1.
3 in a row, 3 fights in a row. He's 3-1 in the UFC. So obviously, he's going to start getting some bigger fights now. He has to.
Oh, definitely. Well, Congo was a pretty big fight for him.
Yeah,
That was probably his biggest test.
Biggest fight in the UFC, without a question. I mean, he's fought top, better guys overseas, and usually lost. This is definitely, probably one of his biggest wins in his career, no question about it.
No question. Yes.
Yeah, 3-1 in the UFC. So I was pretty much overlooking Hunt. I thought Congo was going to win this fight, and then I had said I wanted to see Congo against Shrew.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'd like to see Shrew against Hunt. I think that makes sense. Shrew has won 4 of his last 5 fights. Hunt has won 3 in a row. I think those two are pretty much on the same level. I like to see that fight happen.
That's nice. I'd like to see him possibly take on the winner of Travis Brown, Chad Griggs.
Could see that. Not a bad. Even for Doom against Hunt might not.
That would be
an
that would be
interesting
an
fight
interesting
also.
fight.
So there's a couple of ways you can go with Hunt, but when they first signed him, he's pretty much he was on the contract of Pride when the UFC bought Pride. That's why Hunt Dana White had no
He basically
choice.
came over with
so
them.
yeah, they were pretty much stuck with them.
Yeah.
And now he's 3-1.
Looking pretty good.
His performance, and he had a great performance against Chet Congo, no
And
question
now
about it.
Congo takes a huge setback.
Yeah,
from that.
yeah, absolutely. He's definitely his stock definitely drops in the heavyweight division. There's no question.
Yeah.
Hunt's stock is on the rise. Like we said, he used those great kickboxing. He had the size advantage as far as weight goes, the power, and he was able to get that stoppage.
Yeah, I mean, anything can happen on any given night, and Hunt was able to catch Congo and got the victory.
I think our next fight we got an upset also to talk about.
Oh yeah, this was definitely a big upset. What's
All
that next
right.
fight over there, Tony?
Our next fight is the man, Quentin Rampage Jackson versus Ryan Bader.
Quite possibly one of the most loved people in Japan, Quentin Rampage Jackson.
And when we talked about this fight, we said how he begged to get on this card.
He was so motivated.
He was highly motivated.
Highly motivated.
He wanted to fight Shogun. He wanted this. He wanted that. He couldn't. He even turned down a fight on Fox because he wanted to fight on this card. So he said, a highly motivated Rampage is a dangerous Rampage. Well, I don't know how motivated he was because he didn't make weight.
And he showed up to the weigh-in fat.
Yeah, he was 211. He couldn't get down to 205 to fight. So obviously, the fight still happened. He had to give up 20% of his purse.
He also claimed that the weight cut was because of an undisclosed injury.
But
we don't know about that.
He didn't look to be in the best of shape. Let's put it that way.
No,
Who knows if
definitely
there was
not.
an injury or not? But he definitely didn't look motivated. He didn't look.
He did have one highlight of the night where he did slam
Yeah, he
Bader.
did have a vicious slam on Bader where it looked like he could either broke his neck or broke his arm, but Bader was fine. And listen, Bader, he did a good job of avoiding the power of Rampage.
Yep.
Did a quality job on the feet, and then used his wrestling as All-American wrestling, Division I champion. Used his wrestling on Rampage and got some takedowns, a little ground and pound. and definitely won a clear-cut decision.
He definitely won the fight. Like,
Yeah.
there's no argument that Bader didn't win. He actually took down Rampage 4 times. The most Rampage has been taken down in his career.
Absolutely. And even on the feet, he held his own on the feet. Again, he avoided his power, but did a good job on the stand-up to get the fight to the ground. And without question, the biggest win in Bader's career.
Oh, easily the biggest win. And you could see at some points throughout the fight that the Japanese fans were getting a little restless with the fight. When Bader had Rampage on the ground, they were booing him.
I mean, again,
they were really behind Rampage.
Yeah, he's one of the most popular fighters in Japan, and to come in overweight. I mean, again, who knows? It could have been an injury. We're not sure. He got criticized by Rich Franklin, because Franklin was doing the broadcast on Fuel.
Mm-hmm.
He got criticized. Now, I like actually to see that fight happen. Now, Franklin Rampage. You see, Rampage stock is obviously dropped now a little bit with his coming in overweight, then losing the fight. So I think a Franklin Rampage, it wouldn't be a terrible fight.
Yeah, that's good. What about now for Bader? Who do you got?
For Bader, well, again, he's coming off the biggest fight of his career for the top guy. I like to see him now take a step up for another top guy. I think Shogun makes sense to me. I like to see Bader against Shogun.
That's not bad. I got if Alexander Gustafsson could get past Nogueira.
I can see that. Well, that's, again, if he can get past Nogueira. It's a big if, because, Nogueira's been doing pretty well for himself also.
So is Gustafsson.
Yeah, no, Gustafsson's definitely a top talent. So is Bader. That fight makes sense also, but I see Shogun right now without an opponent.
I'd like to see Shogun take on Rampage. That's a rematch everybody wants to see.
I wouldn't, but I just don't think Rampage...
I know it doesn't make sense with the rankings-wise.
Not even that. Just the fact that Rampage came in overweight. I don't think he should be rewarded. He wants to fight Shogun.
No, yeah.
I don't think you should reward a fighter after coming in overweight, had a very disappointing performance.
No, definitely.
So I don't think he really should be rewarded with Shogun. I think a guy like a Franklin, now there's obviously some bad blood between the two.
Yeah.
Rampage said he's going to slap him in the face if Franklin kept running his mouth. He took offense to Franklin calling Rampage unmotivated and all that stuff. So maybe there was an injury, who knows? But the fact is he lost. I don't think he should be rewarded then to fight the guy he wants to fight.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a Franklin Rampage, and then I think Bader should take a step up and fight like a Shogun. Or I could see a Gustafsson if he can beat Little Nog. That makes sense also. But definitely a big win for Bader. No question about it.
Oh, no question about it. And supposedly this event was so successful for the UFC that they're planning an annual return to Japan every year.
Yeah, which makes sense. I mean, MMA is huge in Japan.
Very big.
So it absolutely makes sense. Every year in Brazil, every year in Japan.
And I think
makes sense.
For the next Japan event, you have to have Rampage and Shogun on that event.
Well, yeah, we can see where those two fighters are at then. Obviously, that makes sense thinking about it because you're talking about in the future now, probably maybe even a year from now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it could make sense. That could work. But, yeah, Rampage definitely needs to redeem himself, though, after that performance.
No question about it. That was just a poor performance by Rampage.
Poor performance by Rampage. Big win for Bader. All right, we go to our main event.
And this was... It was, as expected, pretty good.
Pretty much what we thought it was going to be.
All right, our main event was Frankie Edgar versus Ben Henderson.
Jersey represent.
That's right.
Frankie Edgar.
When you had Henderson, I had Edgar. We both, though, agreed on, we didn't agree on the winner, but we both agreed that it was going to go 5 rounds, go to a decision, and it was going to be a great fight. And that's exactly what it was.
Yes.
It was a fast-paced fight, and it was, both guys... Edgar landed more strikes, but when you look at, I think basically...
Ben Henderson landed more strikes in that fight.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, I'm 100% sure. I got it right here. He actually landed 19 more strikes than Edgar throughout the whole fight.
Throughout the whole fight? All right.
But they were equal in the first round, 13-13. That was the only round where Henderson didn't land more strikes.
All right, when you look at the end, I think really what got Henderson's decision is when you look at the end of that fight, Edgar's eye was shut closed.
Yeah.
He had a bloody nose, and Henderson hardly had any scratches on him.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a one-sided fight. When you look at if you didn't see the fight, and you just saw them both standing there waiting for a decision to get called, I thought, it clear cut for Henderson. Henderson definitely won the fight. It wasn't that clear cut. It could have easily have gone the other way to Edgar.
Yeah.
And I don't really think it would have been much of a controversy if Edgar won that fight.
No, because you gotta decisively beat the champion to become the champion if you want to win the decision.
And I don't know if it was that decisive. Again, if I personally, I would have. I was rooting for Edgar, but I would have gave the decision to Henderson. But it was very close. I know Edgar was very upset after the fight. He thought he won the fight.
Yeah. He was very upset. He did think he... And you know what? You always think you win the fight.
Well, that's why Dana White always says don't leave it in the hand of the judges. So, you got to try to finish the fight. It was a very close fight. But like you said, to beat the champion, it's usually got to be pretty decisive. But I thought Henderson did do enough to win and get
Yeah.
the title. But it was definitely a close fight, though. Both of the guys, it was fast-paced, action-packed. Both guys did a great job. The fight went to the ground. The fight was standing up. They were both, doing a very good job.
Yeah, and I guess the highlight you could say of this fight was in the second round,
Right.
towards the end of the round when
The up kick.
Henderson caught Edgar with just a vicious up kick, and
Oh.
he really stunned him, and
Yeah, but broke his nose.
if there wasn't-
and he could easily have.
there was 10 seconds left when he caught him with that up kick. If there was a little bit more time, Henderson could have possibly finished him there.
Possibly, but we've seen Edgar
Edgar
trouble
hurt.
many
Yes.
times before with a lot more time on the clock, and he was able to survive. So something tells me no matter how much time would have been left, he would have survived that. But yeah, Edgar was winning that round, had Henderson on the ground, but then got caught with that vicious up kick to the face, definitely stunned him, was rocked. Like I said, broke his nose then was bloody and messed up for the rest of the fight.
Mhm.
And figure in a 5-round fight, then second round you get your nose broken, then you're breathing throughout your
Yeah.
mouth for the rest of
Breathing
the
heavier.
fight. So that was definitely a factor. But as Edgar always, he never slows down, constantly
No.
moving. But to Henderson's credit, though, he was the better fighter for that night.
I think what ultimately you could almost immediately see when they first came out to fight each other in that first round, the size of the difference in sizes of them.
Yeah.
Like Henderson just
Well,
looked like he was 2 weight
That's
classes
the
bigger
thing
than.
with Edgar. He doesn't
Edgar.
cut any weight. He walks around at 155. So no matter when he fought Maynard, was a lot bigger. I mean, not height-wise, but obviously,
Yeah.
a lot more. It looked like a middleweight was fighting a lightweight.
Yeah.
So
Almost the same
that's
thing
gonna
with
be
Henderson.
Basically, Edgar's problem, no matter who he fights. That's why personally, I like.
Dana White's been begging him. Supposedly, Dana White's been begging him for a while now to move down to featherweight.
It makes sense. So personally, I would like to see Edgar go to featherweight. Obviously,
Me
he
too.
He could cut down, no problem.
Yeah, no problem.
And I think he should get an instant. We talk about there's no clear-cut contender in the featherweight division. I would like to see Edgar drop down to featherweight and fight Aldo for the title.
I would love to see that. I
That's
think everybody would love
Yeah,
to see
personally,
that.
it makes the most sense to me. As we say,
You know,
Aoki, we think is one fight away. You got the Korean Zombie and Poirier, fighting each other. Also, there's no clear cut.
So maybe if
Contender.
Edgar does decide to move down, give him Aoki as his first matchup, and if he wins that, give him the title shot.
I think he deserves a title shot right away because you look at Kenny Florian went from lightweight to featherweight. He had to fight one fight and then got a title shot. What has Kenny Florian done? No offense to him, but
He's the gatekeeper.
He basically, he never, he fought for the title a few times, but came up short.
Can never win that.
Can
Big fight.
never won the big fight, and he, only had to fight one fight to get a title shot. You look at what Edgar's done. So I think Edgar should definitely get a title shot, right away. Featherweight, Aldo, Edgar, make it happen. That makes sense. And as far as Henderson, there was rumors of Pettis a rematch because that great fight in the WEC. But again, as stacked as the lightweight division is, there's no clear cut.
That's
decision.
yeah.
So you can make an argument for Pettis. You can make an argument the winner, Miller, Diaz. Personally, though, I mean, you look at I know how they want to keep Strikeforce and UFC separate entities. Dana White keeps saying you look at the heavyweight division was suffering a little bit. So he brought in Overeem, brought in Verdum. So now, not that the lightweight division suffering, this certainly
it's
it's
flourishing.
stacked, but there's no clear cut contender, as we said.
No, not at all.
Can you name a clear cut contender? No.
No, I actually
So-
had that right here, and
Makes sense.
I think we'll see how this lightweight picture plays out within the next few months. You got the Miller Diaz match. We're gonna see how everything plays out, and then I guess we could decide who that number one contender
I guess,
is.
but I would like to see Gilbert Melendez come into the UFC.
I would love to see that too.
Henderson, Gilbert Melendez, because again, Henderson didn't take a big punishment. You don't want to have a champion sitting on the sidelines for so long.
No.
So, all right, that wraps up this little segment. When we come back, we're gonna do Pretender Contender.
Your favorite segment, Frank.
My favorite
You
segment.
love Pretender
So
Contender. Can't wait to
stick
get
around.
into it.
We'll be right back.